Well, we didn't start off very well, did we? But things are starting to get a little bit better.
In a parallel universe, West Ham United decided that Slaven Bilic wasn't the right man to lead West Ham to glory at the London Stadium. Instead, they chose this man.
Hi there, my name is JNO. What's up guys, and welcome to another episode of the West Ham World, and we're going to have another Champions League game for you. But before we get into who we are playing and how we have done previously, let's just have a quick look at the table so I can say at least one of my saves is going to plan. If you have a look at the table, you can see we are in second place, just behind Tottenham Hotspurs. We have gone on a great run of form since the last episode, and somehow Arsenal are ninth. But it's early days in the season. As you can see, average rating wise, Will Hughes is on fire at the moment. So hopefully Will Hughes can keep up his form and we can get 2 victories today to make up for the fact that I'm getting no victories on the AFC Wimbledon save. If we have a look at the game since you were last with us, we had an EFL Cup game against Wolves, which we won 5-3. We played a weaker side there. As you can see on the right, we had Mark Anderson playing, as well as Martin Samuelsson and Yuri Tillemans all getting on the score sheet. Mark Anderson looking good and promising as a youngster coming up the ranks. We then played Sheffield Wednesday in the Premier Division. You'd have thought I'd have beaten convincingly. We didn't play a weak side. We won 5-4. It's that thing where my defence in 2 games conceded 7 goals but scored 10. I really can't get a good defence. Then we conceded 3 against Atletico Madrid, where we lost away. It is away against Atletico Madrid, so, you know, that's not a massive issue, although Berahino got injured. We then started to keep slightly tighter defence, as we only conceded 1 in each of the next 2 games, as we beat Watford 3-1 and then QPR 2-1. We now have Dynamo away in the Champions Cup Group D, followed by Brentford, my new favourite side, away in the Premier League. Okay, so we go into this first fixture, and unfortunately we have quite a few injuries and unregistered players, so we can't just put anyone in to replace his injured players. And as you can see, we're playing the deep-lying playmaker in that central midfield strata again, as we did on the AFC Wimbledon Return to Glory save. And we have Randolph in goal because Rajkovic has a knock. Riederwald is on the left with Byram on the right because Kieran Gibbs is injured. Oxford and Keane take up the 2 central defender roles, with Will Hughes, Tolisso and Van Ginkel as our usual 3-man midfield. Lanzini is going to play the shadow striker behind Lozano and Klaassen up front, because all of our strikers are either injured or not registered. Fantastic. Anyway, I'm hoping this team is still good enough to pick up the 3 points in this fixture. We are still the favourites, so go out there, get the job done, and we can have some fun. I don't know where Dynamo is off the top of my head, and I really should. That's embarrassing. Anyway, let's get into the game. Hopefully pick up 3 points so it becomes very clear to the world that we'll at least be getting that second place slot and going through to the knockout stages of Champions League. Okay, unfortunately it looks like Tolisso has picked up a knock as Lanzini takes the corner, crosses it into Keane, straight into the goalkeeper's hands. But at least we've got some chances in the highlight package. We've had 10 shots, 3 on target, 2 long shots, so at least we're having less long shots. But without someone more clinical up front, it looks like we're wasting a lot of our chances. We didn't put away our clear-cut chance, and we need to make something happen. This is what happened in my last Champions League game. It was a pretty boring first half with very little to commentate over, as we're going at half time and that's it. First half is to a close and very little has happened. Alright, we'll probably bring on a youngster around the 60-minute mark to see if he can make his debut a bit similar to Martin Samuelsson's Champions League debut, although Dynamo now have the ball out on the left. Great tackle by Byram, back to Hughes. Hughes with a wayward pass. That is unusual for Will Hughes, but he picks it up again. That's fine. We forgive him. Again, Will, what are you doing to me? Will just hoots it forward that time, and there is a foul by Neris on Lozano. Is that possibly a red card situation? It is. So we are going to tell the guys to push forward, go for that goal. Don't expose yourselves too much by pushing too far forward though, please boys. That's why I'm not changing this to attack yet. Still 0-0 despite the fact that we have a man advantage. As we go and look at the substitutions, and Lanzini is not playing well, but Tolisso is the main one we're going to take off because, as you can tell, He's carrying a knock, and then Michael Keane can come off as well for Phil Jones. It looks like changing that central midfielder to deep line playmaker defend has kind of taken away the sting from my formations. But if it means we're more consistent, then I will take it. Lozano through though, and hits the post or the crossbar or whatever it's called that I tried to call it in a previous episode. I'm not going to make a fool of myself again. 15 minutes left to go. We are still trying to grab that winner. Don't really have a striker to come on. Lozano can come off though for Samuelson. Be that hero you were in the last game, mate. Lanzini will push up top next to Klaassen. And I think we will go to attack now. Come on, grab a goal, get 3 points. Don't let Madrid just run away with this. Give him a challenge. Because at the moment, on 9 points, us on 4 after a draw, it looks pretty set that Atletico Madrid will get the top spot. Whereas if we can keep in touch with them, what we have to do at the London Stadium is beat Atletico Madrid, which I think on our day we could possibly do. Van Ginkel with a long distance shot from way too far out. It's going to be a 1-1 draw. Oh, sorry, a 0-0 draw. Another ball draw. Too many ball draws recently. Okay, so I think we should really sympathise with the team after that performance. We dominated the game, but we didn't get the 3 points, which is what we needed. 28 shots, 10 on target, and we couldn't put any of those away. We restricted them to only 3 shots on target though, so defensively a lot more solid than we usually are. Now let's go on to play Brentford, my new favourite club, and hopefully pick up 3 points. But if we don't, you know what, if we have to drop points to someone, Brentford's fine. Okay guys, so we are going into this game against Brentford, one of the best clubs in England. I'm so going to get bitten for making a joke of this now. But anyway, we are playing the usual formation with a few changes because of the Champions League game and because of injuries. We have Rajkovic in goal with Creswell and Iorfa as the 2 wing backs. Riederwald and Keane are the 2 centre backs with Ozan Tufan, Tillemans and Will Hughes making up our 3-man midfield. Lanzini is the shadow striker behind Mark Anderson and Davy Klaassen. Mark Anderson coming in as a youngster, hopefully about to impress the world against Brentford. Brentford do have Darren Fletcher, who I did try to get, but he demanded to be a first team player. And I was like, no offence mate, I brought you in to tutor players, not to be part of my 3-man midfield. Not that I don't think he'd be capable, just that is what I wanted him for. Okay, so we kick things off against Brentford, the surprise package of the season so far. Although they have dropped to 12th since the last episode, now we've played almost 10 games this season. Now we need to be picking up 3 points here to keep up with Spurs, who look like they won their game. Either way, we need to keep up with Spurs, so we need to get a win here today. Ozan Tufan plays through Mark Anderson. Can he score on his Premier League debut? At least I think it's his Premier League debut. I could be lying to you. I doubt it because it's his 3rd goal of the season, so I probably have played him in the Premier League before. So my apologies for lying. But Ozan Tufan picks up in the middle here, playing slightly more advanced than he usually does. Plays it through to Mark Anderson, who hits it pretty much down the middle, but the keeper isn't quick enough to react. Mark Anderson, welcome to the first team. If you're going to score that frequently, maybe you can be playing alongside Berahino or Egerstein. Did I even need to buy Egerstein? Ozan Tufan has committed a foul here though, and it's a highlight, so is it a red card? Just a warning, so it could be a highlight here for Brentford. Could they equalise as Judge puts it into the box? It's headed out, but it goes back to Judge. Crosses it in again, goes to the back post. They've got Breel Mbolo. If they've got Breel Mbolo, no wonder Brentford are doing alright for themselves. Hoof forward, straight to Brentford again. Judge plays it through to... oh dear, that's their first chance as well. Don't you just hate it when their first chance goes bang in the back of the net? I mean, the amount of times it was played into Judge, and Judge eventually finds an unmarked Mina who smacks it down the middle. Rajkovic should be in goal. I'm pretty sure I said Rajkovic's name at the beginning, so that's not Randolph, so I expect better from Rajkovic. Now we need another goal. And Cresswell has it just outside the box. Looks back to Tillemans. Tillemans to Hughes. Hughes to Anderson. Anderson to Klaassen. Through to Lanzini. Finish it. 2-1 Thank you very much for the instant reply from Klaassen, Lanzini and Mark Anderson, who I'm going to have to remember the name of because he's a new player to the squad. I'm not used to saying his name. Will Hughes also involved in the build-up, and as you can see back there, I think that's what makes me more defensively solid. Tielemans doesn't come forward as much as a deep line playmaker compared to his central midfielder defend. So I think that is what makes me more defensively solid. I say, having conceded a goal here and maybe about to concede another. Wow, I could see it in the stars. It was just that predictable. They've had 3 shots, 3 on target, 1 clear-cut chance, 2 goals. I say I'm more defensively solid and I concede 2 in the same sentence, pretty much. Great finish by Husband there. I can respect being a husband. Alright, we are going to go in at half time, and that is disappointing that we've let in 2 goals. So they need to buck up their ideas, make something happen, because I don't want to be drawing these types of games. We are away though against a team that have been performing alright this season, but still, if I'm to challenge for the title, we don't want to be dropping points to a team that have been promoted. Man United have now gone ahead in their game, at least I'm assuming they have, 1-0 ahead of Sheffield Wednesday. They're jumping over us in the league table by 1 point. Ozan Tufan plays it to Klaassen. Klaassen can play it into the middle to Lanzini. Lanzini 1 more to Hughes. Play it forward to Anderson if he makes a run. Ozan Tufan now has it. Plays it to Lanzini. Lanzini to Hughes. 1 more. Anderson is making runs, but they're not finding him. Anderson finds Lanzini. That was a weak attempt. Maybe a header, so I don't expect there to be much power on it. Anderson looked like he was on the last man there, and if they'd just played the right ball to him, he could have been through. We will look at who is performing and who isn't. David Klaassen isn't performing that well. We've got a yellow card on Ozan Tufan, so I think Tufan will have to come off. We'll give Samuelson some game time, and Klaassen will come off for Lozano. Not that either of them are out-and-out strikers. Okay, so hopefully Lozano or Samuelson can make a difference here today. Radkovic plays it out wide to Cresswell. Cresswell plays it forward to Lozano. Lozano with great control. Lanzini gets tackled, but Hughes picks up the ball, plays it to Samuelson, through to Lanzini. We can run at him now. Anderson dilly-dallies on the ball. We win the header though. Does Anderson win that ball there? He doesn't. This could now be a Brentford attack as he plays it out wide. It's 2-on-1 situation there on the right, but they played a long ball through to Mina. Mina is fouled in the box. I have to rely on my keeper's record of saving penalties on YouTube because it's been very impressive so far, especially on JNO FM, but just generally over the entire time I've done Football Manager videos on YouTube. My keepers usually save penalties when I'm recording. Judge takes it and it's another penalty save. This is ridiculous. And could we counter now? Or Lanzini's just going to hoof it off the pitch. That is impressive though. My goalkeeping saves record when we concede penalties is incredible. Lanzini now has it. Lozano. I want Lozano to show some skill. Dribbles past some people. He did it in my PSV Patrol save, but he doesn't seem to do it much for West Ham as Lanzini hits the crossbar. We reset the play now. Readable plays it back out to Cresswell. Cresswell to Samuelson, into Anderson, through to Lanzini. Lanzini shoots. 3-2. Can we please hold on to this? Tighten up, which usually means we concede if I press tighten up. But tighten the F up. Cresswell, Samuelson. Great play by Anderson to put it through to Lanzini. And Lanzini smacks it into the top left. 3-2. Please hold on to this lead. Iorfa almost gave it to Mbolo there. Cresswell now has it out on the left. Plays it back to Radkovic. Just think about it. Back out to Cresswell, that's fine. Cresswell back to Radkovic. I'm not sure why they're playing so many balls to each other, but Anderson finally has it in their half. Samuelson has space to run into. Samuelson has a shot just wide. What a goal that would have been for Martin Samuelson. Lozano has hurt himself again. I did not see a challenge on Lozano. Is that the second episode of the West Ham World where Lozano picks up an injury just by running? That's literally all he's done. Alright, we're going to bring on Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel will swap with Lanzini, and then Lanzini... No. Then Samuelson and Van Ginkel will swap. Go out there and make the difference, Van Ginkel. And Samuelson, you're further forward now. Let's just make sure I have got everything correct. I haven't. I lied. Anderson is now in the midfield role. That is not what I want at all. Okay, so there we go. Everything is correct. The nieces and nephews have come with their aunt. So if there's suddenly a lot of child noise in the background, I apologise about that. Nothing I can do about it. But we've almost finished the recording. Hopefully we're going to pick up 3 points and stay in second place as the clock ticks down. Hughes almost gets on the end of that to score a 4. And I'm suddenly talking very quickly, like that's going to speed up how quickly this game ends. As Mbolo gets it out on the left, offside. Thank God for that. Can't believe Brentford have Breel Mbolo. Wonder how much they paid for him. I will check that before we go off the game. Maybe I'm tempting fate by checking something before going off the game. Should I really go with him? You know what? I expect a lot of this team now. It has hurt some people's feelings. We'll see if I can save that. No, this is going to confuse people. I should do it individually. Individual team talk. Oh, wow, I'll just mess this up. Anyway, we managed to pick up the 3 points despite not being that convincing. Mark Anderson gets another Premier League goal for a youngster. Let's have a quick look at Breel Mbolo before we go. Oh, it's Carlos Mbolo. I have called him Breel Mbolo for the whole game. Great episode this has been. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in as always. Finally, we are doing very well on the West Ham World, potentially pushing for that title yet again. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel. I've been JNO, you guys have been awesome, and remember, Brentford are almost as good as West Ham.